And tell me what you think about Easter.
Well, Easter is obviously about the death and resurrection of Jesus and the risen Christ. And this year, I'm going to really pay attention to trying to be as excited as if it was the very first Easter.
I've never been on camera before.
You've never been on camera before?
To me, Easter is a time of celebration, and all through Lent, we've been anticipating Jesus' death, and it's quite a time of solemnness. And
jelly beans. Jelly beans are a big thing for me. Every holiday should be measured in jelly beans.
I wouldn't go that far.
All of the kids, 4 girls, got Dorothy made them a new outfit.
Hope.
Eggs, because,
It comes in the springtime when things are renewed.
Similar to as I've been cleaning out my garden and all the dead plants in the garden and getting rid of things that aren't working anymore.
The flowers start blooming, and that's resurrection, The trees come leaf out, the plants come up, everything becomes alive. And so Easter, along with the springtime, reminds us to be alive.
God gives me a new fresh breath to start again. My sins are forgiven, and I know that God loves me because he sent his son to die on the cross for us.
And it's kind of up and down. You're going through Monday, Thursday, and then the crucifixion, and it's a downer.
The miracle of rebirth. Everybody can be born, but only one person that we know of so far has been reborn.
On Sunday, he's risen, he's beat the death thing, which is also just a wonderful thing. And
burst of new life, of new possibilities, of freedom, of the fullness of life.
God's love is shown in a very major way through the sacrifice and then rebirth of Jesus.
As a young man, it meant Handel's Messiah, the Easter portion.
Love the music with Easter.
And
Are we going to go to church?
and we're gonna go.
We're going to go to church.
Never mind.
And now I have a newfound understanding in the promise of God's graciousness through his death on the cross and resurrection to fuel my life and bring me resurrection to the Lord when I die also.
We spend an awful lot of time on the crucifixion and the death, and the resurrection sometimes comes as just what we do at the end. But to me, resurrection is the whole thing. Without the resurrection, then the crucifixion does not mean anything at all.
Easter reminds me of the power of God's love and the power that sharing that love in the world can have.
And now I realize that there are 2 symbols, the cross, which I am supposed to take up daily, and Jesus said, and that would have made over 20,000 days of picking up the cross. And that makes life interesting as an older Christian. But the empty tomb is, I guess, the principal image I see.
And I want to have I want to make the tombs that we wide open. I want to make the crescent rolls.
Oh, yes, that's something Mom makes for breakfast, doesn't she? She calls them resurrection rolls. And she takes crescent rolls, and there's a marshmallow inside of them, I believe, and when you bake them, the marshmallow dissolves and the tomb is empty.
Yeah, the
Yes.
marshmallow is Jesus.
That's right.
Body.
In times like this, where there's a lot of ugliness going on, the joy of Jesus rising just makes hope shine in me.
I find it enormously freeing and a very fulfilling time.
It gives my family a chance to spend time with my grandparents.
And go on the egg hunt after church.
With jelly beans and eggs. Sunny side up, it's delicious. Jesus is sunny side up.
I like to take the whole Easter story as a kind of parable for life.
Exactly. Sunny side up, Jesus.
We go through trials and tribulations of our own all of the time, and we fall into despair, and we feel like we're ready to die. And it is important to remember Easter and remember that resurrection does come.
That's no yoke. All right, I'm going away.